Hi, I'm Jack Dunigan of thepracticalleader.com, and this is the second episode in our series, So You Want to Start a Business. And in this episode, we're going to discover the 3 simple questions you can ask yourself that will let you know if your idea is a good one. Now, what would you do if you had a great idea and you invested a fortune in an idea and you marketed heavily over a period of actually 3 or 4 years in that idea, but it just didn't work? At the end of the time, your business just collapsed. Here's the story of someone who did just that and why his dream was destined to become a nightmare from the very beginning. It had no chance of success ever. Stand by. In the first episode, we were talking about knowing what your idea, and if your idea was a good one. And a good idea actually can be qualified in your head. You can think something is a brilliant idea because you thought of it. But business speaking, there are some simple things you need to take a look at, a serious, honest look at. And that's what we're going to talk about in this episode of how to know if your idea is a good one. It may be well thought out, it could be well planned, but that's not going to be enough to make your business idea a success. Neither is well funded. In the story that I'm going to tell you in just a minute, this man invested a huge amount of money. I mean, a lot of money, and it still didn't work. So this is the tale of an ill-conceived, unqualified idea from the beginning. Okay, so this guy came to me as a client, and he had been at this 5 years. I didn't help him in the beginning. If I had, I could guarantee you this would not have happened. But he didn't come to me until 5 years into his business. He had an idea for something that was in the sports field that he had invented, and he thought it was a brilliant idea that it would help people in this certain sports field improve their game, do fabulously well, whether they were amateurs or pros. And he put a huge amount of money developing prototypes. I mean, a fortune. Even working with some companies in China for possible fabrication and manufacturing of these devices. Spent a lot of money, and it just didn't work. After a period of time, it just was a failure because he spent a lot of money before he qualified the idea. And I've met a lot of people say, well, we just have to spend enough money in order to make this work. Well, you do have to spend money, and you do have to invest capital. But if it's a bad idea, it's throwing that money down the drain. It's not going to go anywhere. And that was the case of this one. If you're ready for this, he spent $60,000 for prototypes and for marketing. And after 5 years, he had sold not one. After 5 years, $60,000, not one sale. So I asked him a very simple question. What problem does this solve? His answer was amazing. He said, I don't know. $60,000, and he had no idea what this product actually did because he did not understand the very basic premise of a successful business, and that is problem solving. But I owned a millwork company. I had a lot of guys who worked for me, and they thought they were building furniture or molding or doors or windows or trim, but they were wrong. And I said, we are not making anything. We are solving problems. People come to us with something that doesn't work or something they need, and we're going to fix that problem for them because that's true about business. And so if you don't know what problem your business or business idea will solve, who does? And I asked this gentleman that. If you don't know, who does? Did you not get into the head of people who would buy this and figure out if they perceived that there was a problem that you could solve for them and that they would pay enough money for you to be able to make any money on your business? He didn't know. They didn't know. 3 questions to ask yourself before you spend any money on your business idea. Question number 1, what problem does it solve? Question number 2, what question does it answer? And number 3, what desire does it fulfill? Now, all transactions, all sustainable businesses are problem-solving businesses. Every one of them. Every one of them are problem-solving business. Okay, so to qualify your idea, ask those 3 questions. And if your business idea does not obviously answer at least one of those questions, it's not a good enough idea to risk your time and your capital on. Therefore, you need to move on to another idea. Your dream can easily become a nightmare because business is risky enough. Don't take a foolish risk. Hope so is not a valid strategy. Throwing out money, opening a business, trying to put your idea into real life and hope that something will happen and it will work is not a valid strategy. If there is no problem solving, there is no business. So it's simple enough, and so many potential people never do it. Ask yourself, what problem does this solve? What question does this answer? What desire does this fulfill? If you cannot readily identify that, then you can't market, because marketing is based on the problem-solving aspect as a benefit to the customer. We will talk about that in a future episode in this series. And in next week, I'm going to tell you 2 stories, one happy one, one sad one, and what they mean for you about how to structure your business. See you then. Well, we hope you enjoy our weekly videos, Lessons in Superlative Leadership. And if you'd like to subscribe, click on the subscribe button just below this video. However, YouTube has made some changes so that even though you are subscribed does not mean you will get a notification. The next thing to do is to click on this little bell right next to it, and you will receive notifications every time one of these comes up. We'd also invite you to visit our website at thepracticalleader.com, where you will find loads of articles and other information to help you become an even more effective leader.